The first thing I'd like to say is, obviously everyone knows we had to make a difficult decision today. The decision was made by me with the support of Garth Butchko and our board to relieve Paul LaPolice of his duties as head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I will say personally, it was done with a great deal of regret and sadness. I'd like to make a strong point of emphasizing what a quality person I think Paul is, how much I and the club appreciate his hard work, his dedication, and the strong character he showed all the time when he was here. Unfortunately, we are a results-driven business, and we haven't been able to produce for approximately the past year now. And even though we did play a strong game last night, the overall feeling was that we were not necessarily going in the right direction and that this was the appropriate time to make a change. I feel strongly that Tim Burke, our interim head coach, is also a strong worker, a man with strong character, very, very well respected within the locker room, and I think he has a good chance to change the tide for us and hopefully make a drive to the playoffs. Well, of course I bear responsibility, but when I do the evaluation, with all due respect to everybody, is I see a fair amount of talent out there that's playing hard, and that's all that a general manager can do for a coaching staff. And ultimately, as everyone in this business knows, the head coach will ultimately be held responsible for the product on the field. It does start with me, but I feel that we weren't making the necessary strides, and in fact, we're possibly going backwards, particularly after having gone to a Grey Cup. I was a little bit surprised and disappointed that we seem to have regressed this year, and at times I didn't feel we were playing up to our full potential. You really don't know what somebody's going to be able to function like as a leader until they're actually in that situation. Paul has a lot of great qualities. He is a very hard worker, he's dedicated, he cares. It was just in this situation, I didn't feel that we were making progress to getting to where we wanted to be, which was consistently be competing for a Grey Cup. And unfortunately, after being with the club on a day-to-day basis, with the players, with the coaches, watching us in practice and in games, I did not see us making the kind of strides forward that I wanted us to see. And so, as difficult it was, I felt that now was probably the most unfortunate time, but the necessary time to make the change. I also, when I broke down the film and the talent level, I saw our players playing extremely hard with a lot of heart. I talked to them repeatedly, and I asked them, do you think your fellow teammates care? They always said yes. Yet we were not producing results that would equate to what I was seeing on the field and what the players were saying. And that gave me great pause. I mean, this is not a snap judgment thing. This is something that has been kind of building over this season. In fairness to Paul, we did have somewhat of a challenge in that we played a number of games on the road. You know, I'd like to make note of that. But I didn't feel that we were making strides forward. At times, I just didn't really feel that we were totally focused. And just the overall vibe of our team, although I thought we had intensity and some hardworking guys, I didn't think we had a general consensus of a sense of moving forward, of getting better. And I just didn't see that. And so when I put all those factors into play throughout this entire season, I had severe reservations, obviously, that was going to change. And so I thought now was the time to make the change. The fact that we were 6-14 over the last year concerned me. And I was hoping going into the season that we would see a change. When I took the entirety of where we were and where I think we are now, I was hoping for Paul's sake, to be honest with you, that there could be a momentum change. And I was hoping that being cognizant of the fact that we were on the road for 4 games in a row, I wanted to give Paul and the team a chance to kind of turn that around. But there was just a number of things that I sensed within the club that I just didn't sense that happening. And again, I just had reservations that it was going to happen in this instance. And so it was just, there was a preponderance of things that were just in the overall mix happening that I felt that we had to make the change. I feel very badly for Paul and Tina and his family, but of course, Paul being the professional understands that that's the nature of our business. And ultimately, if you don't win, the head coach will be held accountable. I felt that maybe if we made a change, there was a chance to still make a strong run into the playoffs. And because I had some reservations that were not being answered, to continue to get down that path, I think would have been negligent on my part, because that's when you're in a position like this, you have to make tough decisions. And I felt that if my assessment was correct, that we had some talented players who wanted to win, that for everybody, if I felt that a change was going to be necessary or possibly necessary, then to the fairness of the club and the fans and our players, now was the right time to do it. I do, I've watched Tim work. I think a lot of him as a person. I think he has strong character. He has a lot of respect in the locker room. I know that. And our defenses have been some of the best defenses, even though we had some struggles this year. And I know we had maybe a player or two at the end of the game, but up until that point, our defense was playing lights out. And they play their hearts out, and I think that's indicative of what Tim brings to the table. And I think the players will respond to that.